Hey, Moguls in the making. I'm Byron Jamal, your premier love and success coach, and your host for this Mogul in the Making Mastermind. Look, tonight is all about social media because using it is essential to expand your mogul brand. All right, whether you're single and need to jazz up your profile, a professional needing a standout representation, or an entrepreneur looking to interact and attract the right mate and the right clients, tonight's talk is all for you. So get ready because we are about to have some real talk, some giveaways, and yes, we are taking live questions. So, my people, my family, let's get ready to go. What is a mogul? A mogul is a person who dominates an enterprise or industry. We've been taught that domination looks like war, destruction, and loss. But domination is nothing more than having a commanding influence. So whether you're in your boardroom or your home office, your cubicle or your conference room, we come to dominate. As we influence each other, we will change our world. This road can be lonely and free time few, but be encouraged because you're no longer alone. Welcome to Mogul in the Making Masterclass. For those of you who don't know, I started Mogul in the Making for a very personal reason. As a love and success coach, I saw that rising rates of suicide and depression amongst professionals was getting crazy. And it showed that even the most successful people lack support systems to form healthy relationships on their level. Well, while working in politics, I've worked in entertainment, I've worked in banking and corporate life and entrepreneurship. I've complained in many circles about the lack of camaraderie and support amongst gifted people. Now, as a love and success coach, I get the chance to make a difference. Mogul in the Making is the new safe place for emerging entrepreneurs and professionals to form healthy connections and find networking opportunities so they can never feel alone on their path again. And I'm really excited because today we are not alone. We have some dynamic experts coming to share their wisdom through engaging conversation. So before I bring them in, I want you to watch this short video to get to know them just a wee bit more. Let's go. As you can see, we have some phenomenal people with us tonight. Let's get them on and get started. I'm really excited about this dynamic lineup of brilliant and beautiful people. First in, let's bring on the amazing, dynamic Ash Brown. Welcome on today, Ash. Said it.
Hi, Byron Jamal. Thank you so much for inviting me and letting me be on your platform today.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you decided to say yes, and I'm glad that you're with us. You are the successful host of the Ash Said It podcast and blogger. I want to bring in also our brother, Howard Monroe. Howard, come on, brother.
What's up,
You know,
Ben?
my
How
dad's
are
name
you?
is Howard, so I so
No,
desperately always
so
want to say Howard.
so the funny thing is that both you and I have two first names in our first and last name. So it happens all the time, brother. I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you. You are the host of the Naked Truth Experience, a life coach, motivational speaker, media personality, and all around good guy. Thank you for being on today.
Thank you, brother.
And I also have to bring in the amazing, not to be forgotten, the expert in all things social media, Ms. Togolo. Thank you so much for being on. You are the founder of the Afro Digital Agency. Thank you for being on with us today.
Hi, it's my pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to chat with you guys about, using social media to win.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you all. Thank you for sharing your minds today. We're going to mine your minds today and talk the best we can about best practices for social media. So let's jump right in. Look, 20 years ago, I would have never, ever thought that social media would rule our interactions. I remember the AOL chat rooms, the emergence of Black Planet, and when Facebook was just for your schoolmates. But today, social media is pretty important. It's an avid part of every single thing that we do. It's how we convey our message. It's how we talk about our identity and share our brand. So for each of you, what's one tip that you can give someone on how to use social media to get the best impact? Tokolo, we'll start with you. What is your advice to someone on how to use social media to get the best impact?
I would say being meaningful with your approach to keep the content you put out there authentic. I think a lot of people just put anything out there for the sake of putting something on social media and not realizing that the key is really putting something out that works to build who you are in the minds of the people consuming that content. Building your business, putting out what you do, what you want to be known for. So really being meaningful in your approach is the key.
I love that. What about for you, Ash? What do you think?
I would say, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I would say, first off, having a social presence, that's very important in this day and age. Having a social presence, having just a Facebook page is not good enough. You've got to have a social presence, and you also have to be consistent with that presence, because just having a page, just picking out a username nowadays, that's not going to cut it. So
Facts on that. Facts on that. What about for you, my brother?
Listen, I just say, find your voice. Allow yourself to be able to find your authentic voice. Again, Tokolo, piggybacking off of you, because I think it's so important to use social media to find out what resonates with individuals who want to hear your message, and to refine your message through social media, and to not be discouraged in the beginning when you might not be getting that traction or that engagement that you're looking for right away. But if you continue to refine your voice, if you continue again to stay consistent, the people will come, and the message that you are supposed to convey will come through.
I love that. That's so much wisdom there. All of you are spot on. The truth is, a lot of us have had situations, and we'll dive into this a little bit as we dig deeper, but a lot of us have had situations where we just had to try some things and figure out if it would stick, throw some stuff at the wall and see if it would work out. I think people are afraid of trial and error. For you, Tokolo, your agency focused specifically on content marketing. What led you to specialize in that field?
I think it's really struggling or really seeing how businesses struggle to create content that resonated with their audience. I think the bigger the business gets, or a small business starting out imitating large businesses, you kind of put out what is right, which tends to be your typical marketing type material, where you're advertising all the time. And social media requires a very different approach to your billboard, to your TV ad, to your radio. And I realized that I could help businesses, big or small, or people also looking to build their personal brands in creating content that is meaningful while still conveying what they are about. So that's really what Afro Digital is about, just helping individuals and businesses create content that is meaningful, authentic, and serves their business to grow as well.
I love that. Well, there are so many ways to take that. I think, Monroe, for you, you have a unique way of attracting clients to you. And so for those clients who are coming in your direction, what do they most want to see from you on your social media platform to stay engaged?
Yeah, I think they want authenticity for me in particular. And for, I'm a life coach, and a lot of the individuals that end up coming to me as clients or potential clients are really attracted to my consistent authenticity and not being afraid to show all of Monroe, right? And I know in the age of social media that can be a danger because we're so used to curating what we want people to see on a day-to-day basis to build an image, to build a brand, which is fine. And I think there's some definite marketing strategies and tools that go into that. But I know for me, the authenticity is what helps individuals to connect with me and to be able to feel like that they may be able to get some value from engaging with me because they know that I'm going to be real and honest, and I am not afraid to uncover some of the things that, my trial and error, because process is something that we all should embrace and be engaged in and not be afraid of. So for me, that's what that is.
I love that. And so for you, Ash, piggybacking on that thought, can sharing too much hinder your effectiveness on social media? Let's play the other side of that.
I think that sometimes, depending on your brand and depending on what your message is, sharing too much can be a lot. People don't even know what you had for dinner last night, or that your boyfriend just broke up with you. Some things, just leave that to the side. We don't need all that information out there. But understanding your audience is, I would say, another cornerstone. Just piggybacking off of them, as knowing your audience. For me, for example, my show is kind of it has grown and evolved so much to where now my majority audience is females 23 to 48 years old, usually single mothers. They're stuck in jobs that they hate, so they don't want to hear about monster trucks and cleaning engines and things of that nature. So I've got to go through and kind of curate and figure out, okay, what are the topics that they want to hear about? What are some of the brands that could help enhance their lives? So having a good understanding of your audience is another key point.
I love that. So, Glow, I want to keep going on this because I feel like this is a big thing for a lot of people who are out there. I'm following your page and seeing how you post. You do post a mixture of things from personal to more professional. And so how do you decide how you're going to do that?
I think, the thing of understanding your audience, like Ash mentioned, is the key. And over time, with trial and error, I've kind of found, I think, the best balance for myself where I'm sharing all the different components, because I am a multifaceted woman that has different interests. I'm not just work. And I think sharing some of my personal stories and the things that I go through does make me more real and more relatable to people, and it shows the not so perfect side, which could be challenging, but it has been trial and error in figuring out what to share and what to put out, and finding that balance between all the different aspects of things I want to be known for. I think when I speak about gratitude, that's something that's very important to me, and that has played a key role, and I want people to know about. When I speak about social media, it's also something that's important. When I speak about certain things I've been through, it's not just putting my life story out there. It's about sharing a lesson or helping people inspire. Sometimes it's just something that's on my heart that I want people, or I feel somebody out there might benefit in hearing that message. So everything they're key pillars in the content that I put out, and it's important for each of those things to be to have a purpose. Posting with purpose is something I'm a big advocate of, and every post needs to have an intention behind it. So even if it's a personal thing I'm speaking to, there is a reason behind it, and there is a message that it's driving to ultimately.
I love that. Posting with purpose. Monroe, since we started on you with this thought, I want to go back to you. Tell me more about authenticity and how you display it in your posting cycle.
Yeah. First of all, it's scary. So listen, I keep it real about that. Like, I remember the first time that I went public in regards to my own journey with mental health and major depressive disorder. And again, Tokolo, I just resonate so much with you because in sharing my story, there was purpose in hopefully letting someone know that they're not alone. And regardless of, what your status in life is, how many degrees you have, what type of job you have, socioeconomic status, we all battle with challenges, and all of us at some point have challenges with mental health, right? And but it was scary, but the power that I found on the other side of that fear in really helping other people to connect to what I was talking about through my transparency and authenticity encouraged me to continue to share my story. And again, authenticity is so important because I'll go back to this piece of process. I've done 15 years in working with young people in urban school districts, and I always want to make sure that they understand that the high side and the highlights that you see now, there was a process that led someone to that place, and so I never want to be afraid to expose the process, even the underside, the dark side, the not so glamorous side. But it's important for individuals to know that you can come through things to get on the other side. So for me, authenticity is key. And again, now, going back to, it depends on your audience. Depends on who is following you, what level of sharing that you will engage in. It also depends on you. That's being authentic. If you are not a public person in person, then maybe you're not a public person on your online persona. If you like to keep things private in real life, then you may not be sharing certain aspects of your personal life. So I would say stay in alignment with what works for you. That's what I would say.
Ash, how do you feel about finding out what your audience wants? Other than just trial and error, what are some tactics and tools that people can actually use to find out what that is?
Well, I would say the first thing to do is just, ask. That's the first thing is asking, because sometimes it'll be surprising because people think, oh, you've got to go through this whole thing. You've got to get the equation right and you've got to get the numbers and everything. But ask people, what do you want to hear? What do you want to, know more about? And outside of that, maybe even doing polls. I've done that sometimes on my social postings where I'll be like, A or B, which one do you guys prefer? Whatever the case is, give me your comments, give me some feedback. That way I can have a better understanding of what's going to appeal to an audience versus what's not. And always trying to, making sure that, I center and focus on what they want.
I love that. So in the ask, because a lot of people will get nervous about asking. They feel like one of my clients said the other day, I don't want to sound desperate. And that was asking, I was having an interview about someone saying, hey, put out there that you're actually available, that you're single, that you're looking. You don't have to go out there and say, hey, I need somebody tonight, but you can definitely say, hey, I'm enjoying my life, but definitely looking for that person to spend the rest of it with. There's ways to go about that. How do you put yourself out there as someone looking for their clients' desires without sounding desperate?
I would say just being authentic in it and just putting it out there first, because people can tell when you're being fake. People can tell when you're putting on a show. They can tell when you're trying to be something that you're not. So the number one thing that I learned when I started my brand was I need to just be myself. Don't look to emulate somebody else. Find your voice. What's real for you. And then your audience, your flock, they will come. You know, guess what? I'm not the brand for everyone. Everyone is not going to support me. Everyone is not going to like me. And guess what? That's okay. But I'm going to still be around, and I'm still going to be there for the people that do support me. So
that's a good point. Chocolo, let's talk a little bit about finding your tribe. There's this group of people, to Ash's point, everybody's not going to want to be on your side. Everybody's not going to follow you. There's, for me, there's other people that talk about love and relationships. So, but the people that hear my voice, the Bible talks about the sheep know the shepherd. So those who know your voice, how do you speak your message in such a way that it keeps them on track with who you are and what you're doing?
I think just doing what I'm comfortable with is the key thing. I serve my audience, or I serve my customers or clients, whatever you'd like to call it, but it starts with me at the end of the day and what I want to share, what I'm comfortable with sharing. I think MONROE touched on that. It's important for you to want to put that out there, for you to be okay with that. So it's really, what you want to be known for. So I would say and staying true to who you are, not putting on some fake persona, like Ash said, just being who you think should be out there. I actually shared a reel about it today. Just, you just be yourself, share your story, put yourself out there, because we might be doing the exact same thing, but your way of doing it, your vision and how you execute on it will be different. And the people that align with your particular message are going to come to you for that thing. So I think people focus a lot on attracting the right people, so that because those are the people that are going to buy or subscribe or sign up or whatever it is you're offering. But the truth is, if you just have a great offer, if you just are, if what you offer gives results, then there's no reason why a person wouldn't want to sign up. So one thing, and it's really hard, honestly, it is really tricky, especially on social media and seeing people getting results and all of that stuff. You want to just do what the successful people are doing. But for me, what really did the thing was just, if one person comments, if one person sends me a DM saying, I was really touched by that thing you put up today, I'm okay. If you're just trying to connect with that one person, you'll be fine. Then that's it. You've just done your job, because you don't do it for 1 million people to do it at the end of the day. You're essentially doing it for impact. And one person is okay with me. That's me. It could be 100 for you. It could be 10,000 for the next person. But it's not about chasing numbers. It's about just staying true to yourself and living in your purpose, doing what you're meant to do on this planet.
And can I say real quick, Tokolo, to that point, I have found that there may be that one person that comes through, but there might be 10 other people that will never will never comment, but they are following. They're following you, and it happens a lot where I see people in general, and they will go down your whole list of, man, I saw you doing this, or thank you so much, but for whatever reason. So when you talk about impact, I've also had to say it transcends even beyond those people who like, subscribe, share, comment, and that really has helped me. So that resonated with me when you said that, because you can get discouraged if you're like, dang, nobody's commenting on this, but people are watching. People are watching, and at the right time, when it clicks for them, they will reach out and say, hey, they want to partake in what you have to offer. And I found that, So.
Let me tell you about that. My Lord, that was a good point, because if you are doing it for the like or that reason, if that's your only reason, now we all need the affirmation here and there, and it brightens up my day when somebody leaves those messages. But if that is your sole motivation in this day and age, you will get burnt out. You have to have a deeper purpose than that, because you're right, MONROE. When I say people, I have literally been in the streets and someone will stop me and say, Byron, I was following this, I was watching this, You did the last two things, and given my 5 points that I
Yep,
said a
yep.
month ago, and I got 3 of your books, and I'm
Yeah.
like, who are you?
Yeah,
I've never heard of you.
yeah,
You never commented.
yeah,
I was like, I didn't know you followed me.
yeah,
That is the day and age we're in, but
yeah.
it is to that point. Let's dive a little deeper. How, anyone pick this up? How would you get that person to become more engaged in a more public way, or is it even necessary?
I personally don't think it's necessary, because I think, just piggybacking off of both of those points, you're gonna have a lot of people, like I said, that look at everything that you do. Maybe, oh, they heard about you at this conference, they were listening to this, this seminar, that workshop, but never support. They may not publicly support you, but you're still touching somebody.
Yeah.
You still got a supporter in them,
Yeah.
regardless of how they want to say
Yeah.
it. If they do want to say it, if they don't want to say it, they're still supporting you, because they're
Yeah.
still watching every move that you make. So I still look at it as a win. I don't think that we necessarily need to have like that validation from the person. Oh, well, good job, pat on the back. But just knowing that, I know that you're watching me. I know that you see. I know you're paying attention. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like I
it's
know
still good all
you
around,
see.
everywhere around it. It's still good. It's all good.
Yeah. I think too, with that, one thing I found as a life coach, people need to see that you're going to be around, because people sit back and watch, because they're like, okay, he was out here for 1 month and he was trying this and doing this, and I was watching. But if you get discouraged and you're like, you know what, this isn't working, and you stop doing what you're doing, and then they're like, see, yeah, I knew he wasn't going to be around. I knew she wasn't going to be around. What's happened for me with life coaching clients, they've been following me ever since the inception of my business, but it wasn't until month 3 or month 4 when they were like, it was that one time that, again, it was right for them. They heard something that I said, but if I hadn't stayed consistent, if I hadn't stayed in the game, they would have never heard what I had to say at that point. So I've also learned that, Ash, like you're saying, like, no, it's not necessary for you necessarily to be public, but if we stay consistent with our message and our content, and then Tokolo, as you said, a product that provides impact, which is the most important, refining that product, then when it's time, those people will reach out in the way that they're most comfortable and the way that is going to be most effective for them.
Yeah.
Good today.
I think just one thing that I would like to add to that is just, people share when they are most comfortable to do it, and in the way that they are most comfortable in doing it. So when somebody does meet you in the street and, compliment you and thank you for the work that you've done, I think we underestimate how shy or nervous people are about putting things on public platforms like social media. If they comment, are they saying the right thing? If they put it out there, what will you think? Did they do it right? A lot of people just don't know how to do social media and how to do it, even though we take something that small for granted, because it's so easy for us to just jump on and comment and all of that stuff. And I found that saying something like, next time, please just share a picture of you with the book, or, just leave a comment, please. I'd really love to, or slide into my DMs, or share a story, put it out there. If somebody emails you a compliment or thanks you for, take a screenshot and put that in your stories to share it with people, because other people do need to see that. And I've realized that the more I share other people's comments and show them feedback, the more they want to give their feedback, because they kind of see how other people do it, and then they also say, oh, or then they'll send, DMs, and it does encourage people. It's just that thing of being fearful of being the first one, and showing people how other people do it tends to make people more comfortable, and it does help them show up in whichever avenue it is, of course.
Yeah,
that's a great point. So let's shift gears here. We say that content is king, and yet sometimes there feels like there may be oversharing. Is it possible to post too much content to where you may even drown out the type of message, the impact of the message you really want to have? Anybody want to take that?
Yeah, I think that that is possible. I kind of, I guess, did my own little case study with that when I initially started up on IG. And a friend of mine that I was working with at the time in marketing, she was like, girl, you got to post every day, and you got to post this, and you got to post that, and you got to post at this time. And so literally it was like a part-time job where I was posting multiple times a day, 5, 6 days a week, sometimes, all 7 days. And it was the content was redundant because it was the same material. Like if you're spewing out the same stuff day after day, people get tired of it. They get tired of it. It's not effective. It's not nearly as effective, regardless of what the message was, with whatever copy that you had with it, or hashtags, or whatever the case is. So being very, like Tokolo was saying earlier, being very purposeful with your post, and not inundating your audience with information that they don't necessarily need. You don't have to post every day, and you got to figure out what's the best schedule for you, and what's the best way that you like to do it. But yes, it is very possible to overshare. I looked at some earlier posts of mine. I was like, oh my goodness, that's why people stop on following me. Look at all of this. Yeah, it can be bad.
I mean, I will say that I have literally unfollowed a few people who I felt like were on my timeline way too. I mean, three posts in a row before I could get to the next person. I was like, okay, this is too much. So what about for you, Toklo? What do you think about that?
I think there is definitely, you can do it too much if the content, like you're saying, if it does become, just redundant and it's a lot of the same thing. But if it's done right, if you are producing content that your audience actually wants to see, and you're giving different versions of it, like say a fashion brand that gives fashion tips, and they're resharing content from their audience. So customers are showing how they're wearing or styling different things, and their audience is gaining something from that stream of content. I know a brand that posts 3 times a day, every single day. And those posts get a lot of engagement because it's different and it is helpful and it's what their audience is looking for. And again, it's really looking at what your audience wants and giving value to that audience and being purposeful and staying true to what you want to be known for and what you want to offer people. So if your content ticks those boxes and you can remain consistent, like consistency is the key. Like you can't say, I'm going to show up every single day and then do it for a week and then you fall off because it's exhausting, because it can be exhausting. But if you have the manpower to have somebody deliver and help you show up consistently, say, obviously I'm speaking for, say, a business and not necessarily you in your personal capacity, but then you should do it. There's nothing holding you back from connecting with your audience more frequently and showing up for them, especially if they're spending that much more time on social media.
I've I want you to take that, but I found that what has worked for me recently, because I have quotes that I've done for the last 15 to 20 years, and I literally started pulling those back and realizing I have a lot I could post here. So I started a system of posting to make my timeline look more succinct and clean. And that helped because now there's at least one post I don't even have to think about. I can make it, and I can make 20 of them and just post them when I need to, when it's time for that post to go out. So I end up sometimes posting 3 times in that day, but it's all spread out, like a morning, an afternoon, and an evening. So I've done that. But again, the content is relevant. It's not just, hey, look at me eating some Chick-fil-A. It's it's, hey, I love Chick-fil-A, and this is what love feels. It relates back to love. So I think it has to your point, Ash and Tokolo, I think it can't be redundant. Right. But it definitely has to be on brand. If it's going to be a lot, it's got to be on brand, to your point, Tokolo. Like if somebody's looking for a certain kind of content from you, then it should be related to that. If you're going to give me a lot of it, give me a lot of what I expect. Don't give me a lot of what you just want to put out. For instance, when I want to hear about polling, then I'll watch 12 videos about polls from different news agencies at one time. But if I don't want to hear about polling, then 3 videos ends up being a lot that I see at that time. So it has to be relevant. What do you think, Monroe?
Well, I just say this is an area that I honestly struggle with, and in still being relatively new to the game, and using social media as a platform to expand my brand and to attract clients, so on and so forth. I'm still less than a year old in this, so I'm still figuring out, what is my formula. And I've tried the daily posts and the multiple times a day, the campaigns where, you're going to get this on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. What I will say to this, though, is that I have definitely deferred to making sure that the content is quality versus the quantity. So, and for me in my business, and again, like everyone has said, you have to figure out what works for you and what your audience is looking for. But I want to acknowledge that creating content can be a full-time job if you are really invested in creating quality content that resonates with your viewers. Byron, like you, I am looking for ways in which I can find things that I've already created that are on brand and that are relevant that I can use, so I can take some of that pressure off. But when it comes to like creating and editing and I struggle with captions. So if y'all got some, I sit there and look at that screen like, what am I gonna say? You want to be clever, you want to be succinct, you want to expand enough. So this is an area that I'm actually looking to my fellow panelists. Y'all lead the way, because I don't know.
No, I definitely understand that. Look, brother, Gary Vee is one of those people that I've followed for a while now, and his content, he has a lot to say about using one piece of content and breaking it out into multiple things.
Yeah.
Not having to create so much, but really take one and recreate it.
Yeah.
I think I've learned that. I've learned to do a one of my posts that's a quote, and then use that a few weeks later inside of a picture of me, the same quote. And people be like, "Oh, that was good," and I'll be like, "Well, I just said it. Yeah, I guess I was good the first time." It was good the first time. I guess it was. So learning how to recreate your content, not just create content. I think that helps. Also, I've seen that honestly, people don't scroll as far down as you think.
Right.
So being able to archive some things, repost them a few months later, trying to do something new all the time is unnecessary, especially if you put a lot of quality into the original post. You can really repost it. There's some pictures I've reposted. There's of me, and they'd be like, "Oh, you look good." I'd be like, "I sure did." 6 months ago, I sure did. Thank you. I don't put Throwback Thursday either. But yes, it becomes necessary. I want to take a quick break, and then we will jump into our lightning round with viewer questions. I am really excited about this because I feel like these people are asking some really good stuff. Some things we touched on lightly, but we haven't gone all in. So we're about to go in. We'll be right back after this.
Come take my hand and see the world around you. The time is right, just let the light surround you. And step by step you feel it coming alive. The feeling deep down inside, and you've got nothing to hide. To reach the top you've gotta keep on moving. Don't let it stop, just gotta keep on moving. I know you're doing your best, you're stepping up from the rest. Just keep on passing the test, and then you gotta climb higher. Climb higher. Let the
All right, we are back for our lightning round, our audience questions today. We've had some amazing ones come in, not only while we've been on, but also while even before this. So for everyone who is tuning in, when you ask a question and you are interested in getting something free today, a giveaway. We actually have two. Tell us about what you're offering today, Monroe.
So I'm offering a free 45-minute life coaching session with myself. So definitely for whomever that audience member is that wins that, I look forward to engaging with you in a 45-minute life coaching session.
Awesome. And what about you, Tokolo?
I'm offering a one-on-one consultation call where I'll be advising you on strategically approaching your content creation and what to share, how to share, when to share, tips on tools you can use to help streamline your process. Yeah, all of that stuff. Anything you need to know, basically.
Awesome.
An hour session.
We appreciate you sharing that. For those, we appreciate you offering that. For those of you who are watching, post your questions below. Feel free, and then you'll be entered in for that. Our first question that was offered to us was, how do you create a social media marketing plan for your business? I know that when I worked for many companies, I was the creative person that was kind of working in the system. And so I know that there are departments that do that. But when you're an individual person, how do you create your own social marketing plan? Who wants to start us off with that?
I can take that one. So simply, you'd start out with your calendar for the period you're looking at. So you can either start with a 1 month view, 3 months, 6 or 12 months, and just plot down all the dates that are most important for you, that you need to speak to, shout out. So any offers you're going to have, any launches, product launches, giveaways you might want to do, collaborations, public holidays, or fun national holidays, like World Coffee Day or Turtle Day, whatever it is that's important to you. And then layer on top of that how often you want to post. So if you want to show up every second day, every day, you just mark those dates. With approaching your content plan, in terms of the content you want to share, I suggest you structure your content by selecting 5 topics. That's typically what I suggest people should do. Select 5 topics you want to speak to consistently for a period of minimum 6 months, and then spread that out over that time. So say today I'll speak to 1 topic, the next day I'll speak to topic 2, the next day topic 3, the next day topic 4, and then once you've hit 5, then you start again, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. That simplifies what you're going to speak to. So a lot of people get overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, what am I going to talk about? Or they open up their phone and it's, oh my gosh, what am I going to share? So it's really just that simplifies what you're going to speak to on what date. And if it lands on a day where it's a holiday, a national fun holiday, or something that's important to you, then you need to speak to that. And if a launch date is coming up, then you can say, okay, a week before that or a month before that, I need to start speaking about it and letting people know that it's coming up. And I'm going to go in my stories every day. I'm going to share 1 post. I'm going to create a reel and be really adventurous. You can start then going deeper and deeper with what you're going to do and put out there for those specific topics and dates. So that's the simple version.
Thank you for that. I know it's a big question. So I'm glad that this is what you do all day. So I'm glad that you took that one. We're doing lightning, so everybody's getting one. Let's talk about DMs. Somebody asked, how to use DMs to attract potential clients. Ooh, who wants to do the DM topic here?
I'll talk about the DMs a little bit.
Sure.
So as far as DMs go, keeping it strictly professional. That's a key one, because sometimes people get too comfortable with you with social media and they think they can just talk to you however and say whatever. Well, as long as you conduct yourself, because nowadays we're in the day and age of screenshots. Everything is screenshot. Everybody's saving stuff. Everybody's trying to gather as much, trash on everybody else. So you always have to know when you're being provoked, and just trying to put your safeguards up. But as far as attracting new customers or new clients through the DMs, I wouldn't say necessarily it's something that you should solely just like focus on, but be open to it. Be checking your DMs regularly, because you could be missing out on a client. You could be missing out on that one connection because it was in your DMs and you never check them. You never check your DMs. So I would say just stay consistent on checking them. Don't be laser focused on DMs though.
For me, I have certainly seen myself get new clients because I was willing to engage them in the DMs, to have conversations lightly. For LinkedIn specifically, I have, because of the way it's worked out, I actually have something I kind of cut and paste and put in that has a link to my website and Mogul in the Making, since it's a professional entrepreneur, professionals group. And I have seen a lot of traction with that. People who are surprised that they just followed somebody and they actually message back, because normally you have a ghost follow. You got accepted and you don't ever really hear from them again. They may say something on your timeline, but that's about it. So that active engagement, especially early on for me, I've seen a great growth on LinkedIn. Now, some other platforms are a little harder, like Instagram, and it's a little sometimes harder to catch people if they get pushed down. But I've seen that on LinkedIn, so I can offer that as one thing. Now, next question from one of our great viewers: attractive content or substantial content? And I know exactly what they mean here. The stuff that's pretty. MONROE was talking about the editing and all that stuff. Does it have to be real pretty, designed by a professional, or is it more about the substance, or somewhere in between?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say that there's a balance. Like, I would not put aesthetics over substance. So let me say that. I would always teeter on the side of substance, but I would say do not neglect the importance of aesthetics. You talked about how even kind of clearing up your timeline, Byron, on how you have, because I've seen it, right? Like I frequently go to your page, and so it's very clean, it's very attractive, it's appealing to the eye. And I know I've done the same thing at certain times where you've seen some consistency in that. And I would say whenever you can, not to go beyond your means, but whenever you can, put your best foot forward. So if you've got a high resolution, many of us right here, this is all we need right here. You spend all this money for these phones. They have all of these capabilities. And so, yes, I think there is value in putting your best foot forward by getting a high resolution image, by getting video content that is in some way edited. Once again, many of my things that I edit are right here on my phone in iMovie. And you can add music, which again can draw people in to hear your substance. And so, I think there's definitely a balance, but I would never say, aesthetics over substance. I would always say be very very intentional about and be do your due diligence. So if you are out there, promoting a product, if you are out there promoting a service, if you're out there touting a strategy, do your research, make sure that it's substantive. So that's what I would say to that.
I appreciate that. Let's go to, we have a question here. Celia, how do you stay true to your brand? How do you unplug, especially when there are so many content interests? That is true. Anybody, how do you stay true to your brand?
How do you being clear on what your brand is about? So for me, it's if I'm working with said client, then it's finding that out and kind of developing a mood board for that brand. So everybody knows what goes into that brand, what they're about, and it's simple. You can see it on the pictures. You can see the style, the tone, whether it's fun or whether it's more high end and minimalist. So all of those things play a part. And the earlier I mentioned the 5 topics. Those things are the things that best speak to your brand or what you want to be known for, whether it's your personal brand or your business. That helps you stay on track with that. And how do you unplug? I don't really unplug. I don't need to unplug. I enjoy being plugged in. So I'm probably not the best person, but it's really just trying to stay off my phone. And when I'm on my walk, I'm on my walk and listening to something. I'm trying to not be on social media too much, here and there maybe, but it's just being present. You know, if we're watching a movie, then it's trying to stay present and watch the movie and, you know, chat about what's happening there, and not also just being busy with too many things at once.
That is so true. I know the whole unplugging thing. Number one, if you really post what you love, then you like talking about it. So it actually feels like you're having conversations with new friends, new family members. It actually feels good. But then you're right. You have to stay present in the moments that you're in, because it is not sexy to be on a date or to be with somebody that you care about, a friend, a family member, anybody, and always checking your phone. You know, that's not okay. So just the same way to that person about unplugging, I would say very strategically, make sure that you are focused, set your day with intention, have a calendar, have a schedule that you actually have. And from there, you're able to know when you're posting, give your post about an hour of engagement or 30 minutes of engagement. And then from there, enjoy the rest of your day. We had another question. I think this was a follow-up to the DM post. How often do I do more than one DM post, and how often do I spread? So I do an initial one and then see where the conversation goes. It's normally an engagement about what I do, what my mission is, and how I feel like I help people. And if they connect with that, that's where we go from there. So it's not really, I don't have a set number after one, just for that. All right, last question, and we're going to wrap up for tonight. Let's go. Oh, by the way, Celia and Janet, since you two were the first two, I'm going to go ahead and say you're the winners. So get ready. You got two people coming your way, Tokolo and Monroe. Let's go. Best advice. No, let's go this way. Niche only. This is a good one. I actually like this. Niche only, because everybody talks about having a niche. Niche only, or extend the branch to some bigger things, some more general things. Do you go niche only, or do you extend as well? So we talk about the people that say, if you talk about, if you do boats, then it should just be a certain type of boat, and that's your niche. Or you can talk about that type of boat, but also other boats, tugboats, cruise boats, you know what I mean? So who wants to take that one?
Well, so I've been working on this personally, because I do believe that you can start with a niche, become an expert in that niche, talk about that niche, build an audience, and then organically and naturally you will begin to expand into other things. You know, and it's something that I've typically been like a jack of all trades, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. And what I found is that while I love the fact that I can speak to a lot of different things, it became frustrating at times that I couldn't do a deep dive into specific things. So the niche is kind of helping me, and this is me personally, kind of focus my message, focus my branding, and again, building that kind of core audience, and really getting some traction in there, because people kind of come to expect from you what they are, you know, what they're going to learn from you, or what they're going to be exposed to. And then from there, I've seen where people expand into all kind of arenas, but they started out with like, I make shoes, and then eventually that expanded into other accessories, and now you have a whole, you know, New York Fashion Week line or whatever, you know. So that's my advice, and that's my particular journey right now.
Yeah.
So then I'll get to that.
Yeah, I actually, watching very successful people, I've watched their journeys. You think of your Jay-Z's, he's got a lot of things going on now, but he started as a rapper.
Yeah.
And he became such a good rapper that he could build more on top of the rapping. So having a firm foundation in that niche, to me, is what it is. I had to do something similar in saying that, you know, everybody wants to talk about love. I could go all day talking about everything with love, but knowing where to go with that and hone it in. I'm sure we've all had to do with that in some way, shape, or form. Thank you all for sharing your hearts and your minds with us today. This has been absolutely amazing, and we have gotten so much great feedback from everybody. We got two great winners in Janet and Celia. Thank you again for offering your services to them. Also, let's go ahead and let the people know who you are and how they can connect with you. Ash, why don't you start us off on that?
All right. Well, Byron, I definitely want to say thank you so much. I appreciate being on the program. And so everyone, I'm Ash Brown. I'm the founder and CEO of Ash Said It, LLC. I'm a little bit of everything. All right. So we started off with we started off blogging, and then just much like you said, it branched off to me starting a podcast show. My podcast is on every major platform. I've got over 1,500 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. And it started off really, honestly, it was kind of crazy how it started because somebody actually dared me to start a podcast off of my phone. And I was like, that's stupid. That's dumb. I'm not going to do that. And they were like, oh, no, you got to do it. It's going to be so much fun. I was like, okay, I'll do it just to shut you up. And so, fast forward, 5-6 years later, like, I talk to CEOs, I talk to painters, I talk to authors. I've had so many amazing, just really impactful people on my show that audience and listeners will come back and be like, Ash, thank you so much for having this person. Thank you so much for having that person. So I'm not looking for the A-listers and they're like, oh, you need to get a big time celebrity. You need to get an A-list actress. I'm not worried about that. I want to get to the core of the story. And my core of the story is finding out who you are. How did you get to that place? Because it wasn't just, Beyonce didn't just wake up overnight and be Beyonce. There was a lot of unsuccessful years in that journey. And so I like to hear about people's journey, and them sharing their journey gives other people inspiration. And so that's really what the show is centered on now. And I'm super proud of it. I'm very thankful for it. So you guys can check me out on social media at OneLoveAsh, or you can check out ashsaidit.com. And again, Byron, thank you so much for allowing me to be on your platform today.
Absolutely a pleasure. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know how you did that many episodes.
I don't know either.
You don't sleep. Yes, clearly. Vampire over there. But thank you so much. And that's beautiful. Monroe, what about for you, brother?
Listen, again, I will echo the same sentiments as Ash. Byron, it's always a pleasure, man, when we get a chance to engage and interact, both in person and online, brother. So
yes,
thank you for that. Again, I'm Monroe Howard. I'm the Essential Life Coach. I'm the CEO and founder of the Essential Coaching Group. So we provide one-on-one coaching. I'm expanding into group coaching, and soon I'll be having some 6-week online courses that people can subscribe to. So be looking for that on the horizon. I'm also the proud host of the Naked Truth Experience, which is a talk show actually on Facebook and YouTube. We're not at 1,500 yet, but Ash, you have set that standard. So I applaud you. We'll be going into episode 28 next week, and it's every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Again on Facebook and YouTube, and we really get to the naked truth about a lot of different topics. So coming up actually this week, we'll be talking about Trump's Black America. So I will be analyzing the proposed plan from this administration for Black America. And then the next week I'll be doing Biden's Black America. So again, please tune in, and you can find me on all social media platforms. On Instagram, where I have probably the most presence, is he_smiles. I love to smile. So he_smiles is where you can find me. And of course, you can find the Naked Truth Experience on Facebook. Join our Naked Truth Experience Facebook group. I would love to engage with you in there. And you can look up my name. I have a very long name, Monroe Aaron Devon Howard Shackleford, on Facebook as well. So thank you.
His name is almost as long as your podcast is. Oh, that is awesome. They say keep people that are smarter than you around. So, Monroe, thank you for that. I don't think I want to dive into Trump's Black America.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm gonna do it.
Go for it, brother. We'll be tuning in. We'll tune in. What about for you, Tokolo?
Well, I'm Tokelo Mutsipe, and I'm the founder of Afro Digital, which is a content marketing agency that caters to businesses across Africa. We basically focus on social media and wow, I had a blank. But we focus on social media and helping businesses stay consistent and use those platforms to connect with their audiences and build their brands. Mainly small businesses, because that is my passion. But for the last 10 years, have been working in retail, so I have a corporate background. But in wanting to do more meaningful work and help those that don't necessarily have the large budgets that retailers have, I use my talents to help the small businesses just build their brands. And yeah, so we do social media management, content creation, and content planning, which creates like easy to use content plans that businesses can then use and work within their teams and share their content online. I consult with businesses as well to help them, large and small, to help them create content that connects with their audience in a more meaningful way. A meaningful approach to social media is really something I'm passionate about. So that's something that I push across the board.
I love
and
it.
I'm on, what am I on? Instagram. I'm really on Instagram, not on Twitter anymore, and not really on Facebook. But yeah, I'm Tugelo Mutsepe. So that is, you can see it at the bottom of the screen there. And yeah, you can find me, and I'm on there sharing personal social media tips, how-tos. Afro Digital has a page as well that shares some of the work we've done for businesses, sharing tips as well. Being informative and adding value is the general approach across the board.
Awesome. Thank you all for being a part. And for those of you who are tuning in to me the first time, I am Byron Jamal, a love and success coach, helping ordinary people find extraordinary love. I help you find the man of your dreams and help you balance love and success in your life. Yes, you can have both. You can find me at byronjamal.com, at Byron Jamal on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It's been such an honor to have all of these amazing guests on today. All of you who joined in and gave your questions. We got 2 winners tonight. This is awesome. And they get to be with some amazing people who are so gifted and talented. And thank you for sharing this moment with me, all of you. I appreciate that, for community growth. And if you haven't already, make sure to tell a friend about Mogul in the Making and what we're doing to change lives in our community. Like Ash said, don't get redundant. All right, keep it fresh. Monroe was saying that authenticity helps people connect to you, and Togolo made sure to say sharing my story makes it real, makes her real. So make sure you stay real today, y'all, on social media. Do what you love, do what makes you comfortable, and if it doesn't make you comfortable, it better make you better. All right, y'all be blessed, and thank you again for tuning in. Have a beautiful night, and remember to go and be great, because you are great. Love y'all. Be blessed. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.